Hey guys, it's Captain Harris. Welcome back to the channel. Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Hello. Why don't we talk about the new Iron Maiden trailer that came out and the documentary that looks like it's coming out in May this year? Now, we haven't talked about this yet, so I figure we may as well. There's a whole history to kind of unlock with this documentary because a lot has been said about what happened to it because this was announced like back in January last year, and there was a documentary was announced with no title, no release date. It was basically just, hey, there's a documentary about Iron Maiden coming out in the fall of 2025, and so this is the official what Maiden posted about it. And so it was announced that it would be done by Universal Pictures Content Group, and they were announcing an untitled Iron Maiden featured documentary in 2025.
They just had to one-up Metallica.
Yeah, it was strange that Metallica announced one that seemed like kind of a similar thing, and then Maiden announced this one first.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that.
Sorry,
has
I've
any
been on the
connection.
verge of sneezing here for like a full minute.
So with this announcement, it says featuring exclusive interviews with band members, past and present, never seen before footage, and brings our iconic mascot Eddie to life with spectacular animation. It's interesting that they're going with animations.
Yeah.
What do you think that could entail?
You know, I was worried after the tour started because this came out before the Run for Your Lives tour, and as you know, there was some controversies and things that I was unhappy with as far as like AI goes, and after that happened, I'm like, oh no, I was thinking back to the animated Eddies. I was hoping it wouldn't be that, but Logan shared something in our chat today of the artist that worked on the Eddie that was shown in the trailer. Came out and said like, oh, it's nice to be able to talk about this now. I did me and this guy worked on the animations for the Eddie, so it's like, good. I'm
animators
glad
involved.
that there's actual people involved. Not sure how much I like Eddie's short hair. Maybe it's in the story why he has short hair, but and it's only one small clip of him, so I'll hold most of my judgment for when I see the film. Universal Pictures Content Group announced it has commenced production on an official untitled Iron Maiden feature documentary. Universal Pictures Content Group hold global rights, and Universal Pictures International is set to release it in cinemas internationally in fall of 2025, coinciding with the band's 50th anniversary year. U.S. theatrical distribution is yet to be confirmed.
So clearly, this was supposed to come out a while ago.
Yeah.
Because we're already in March of 2026.
I was wondering if it got canned because it was, I think in the Metal Hammer magazine, somebody said that it was pushed to 2026, and it's like, well, that could mean January or December.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's a long window for release. But a little bit about what they first said about this project. So the long-awaited documentary is an emotive journey through Iron Maiden's 50-year history, told from the perspective of both the band and some of their most devoted followers. From long-standing superfans to established names from the worlds of film and music, such as Javier Bardem, Lars Ulrich, and Gene Simmons. The documentary will also feature exclusive interviews with pivotal band members, including the final interview with original vocalist Paul Di'Anno, who sadly died last year meaning 2024 at the time. So this could be the last officially put out thing that Paul ever did, which is, it's kind of cool to have him in there, and it shows that they were really, trying to get everybody that was involved from the early days. And also featuring rare archival footage and all new animated sequences of the band's legendary mascot Eddie. The film offers a unique visual experience that highlights Iron Maiden's widespread impact and the strong connection between the band and their truly global army of fans. The film also explores the cultural movement Iron Maiden have helped shape and their enduring legacy in both music and fan culture, challenging common perceptions of the wider significance of rock music and heavy metal. So it seems like it's talking about kind of the wider scope of what Maiden brought to the world, and even in the trailer, Tom Morello pointed out like, oh, you see somebody in a Maiden shirt, you shoot him the horns, and it's like that's kind of the culture, wider than the hardcore fan base, but everybody's seen a Maiden shirt, everybody's seen Eddie or has heard of Iron Maiden, but they might not necessarily know who they are or who's in the band. Fast forward a very long time, and we get an announcement out of nowhere that it's Iron Maiden Burning Ambition. which came out at the end of February here.
How do you feel about the name of the film?
Burning Ambition. So, of course, that's referencing... Is it their first song? Iron Maiden's
No,
first song?
it was one of the early day songs. It was never officially on an album.
Right, so no album release. I mean, I think it works just because it's implying that, like, you know, from the start, maybe Steve had this ambition to create a mega band, and he did it. What do you think?
I don't know if he ever had an ambition to make a mega band. I think he was just a freak about playing on stage and just loved it.
So the cover art is not anything I would have expected. I would have never expected them to put their faces on it. But it's all 6 of them, even Yannick, of course. And
You mean even Yannick?
well, you know,
He's
it's
been
like,
in there for 30 years.
No, I know, and he should be in there.
Even more than that.
He should be in there. It's just, you know, I don't know how much they're focusing on just the 80s or what they're doing. So it's cool that it's all 6 of them. And there's
it's
Eddie.
the 50th anniversary Eddie, so they're clearly going to do, you know, the main lineup.
Right, so Iron Maiden, Burning Ambition, coming soon to cinemas. So, it says, documenting one of the most iconic journeys in music history, the film will be released in cinemas worldwide from May 7th, 2006. Tickets will go on sale March 18th. 2026. I almost missed it by 20 years. Directed by Malcolm Venville, who did Churchill at War, and produced by Dominic Freeman, Spirits in the Forest, a Depeche Mode film, the feature-length documentary charts Iron Maiden's remarkable 5-decade journey. So it sounds like it's going to be a documentary of the full, 50-year journey, which is cool, because everything we've seen so far has been very kind of isolated, and like it's this era, it's this tour, this album. It says, alongside the band, the documentary features on-camera reflections from prominent admirers, including Javier Bardem, Lars Ulrich, and Chuck D, each speaking to Iron Maiden's influence on music, culture, and generations of fans.
What happened to Gene Simmons?
Gene Simmons. Did Gene Simmons get cut?
I don't know. They said it in the original over a year ago, and there's no Gene Simmons here,
Gene Simmons.
So maybe they cut Gene Simmons out.
Who knows? The newly released key art by Akarant offers the first visual look at the documentary, and that's the cover that you've already seen.
The Onion.
Yeah, and then it just kind of talks about the band and how many concerts they've done and countries and the 50-year career. And then just a couple days ago, we got an official trailer finally. So it's all kind of coming out fast now, and it's like, oh, it's coming in May, and here's a trailer, and everybody kind of descended on the trailers to see, well, what are they going for with this thing? So we want to talk about our thoughts on it a little bit.
What an amazing thing this is.
So when it comes to the trailer, it seems like they were trying to kind of go right through the entire career in a 2.5-minute period.
Di'Anno was the first singer of the band,
but he wasn't really looking after himself.
So, you know, right at the beginning, it's like, it's a real speed run of like, oh, we were quickly picking up fans, and then Paul Di'Anno was the singer, and then, oh, it's Bruce, how you doing?
That's right, it's Bruce.
And then it's like, oh, rock stardom, just like immediately, because I mean, there was no breaks in the 80s for them. It was just from the get-go all the way like 10 years straight of just absolute gold. And I mean, they really were like the biggest heavy metal band of the 80s at the time. Of course, you have Tom Morello show up. He is the first trifecta of every rock documentary.
For some reason.
And he was in. Name his, what's his quote from Flight 666?
Putting on the headphones and wearing out Peace of Mind, or
Yeah.
like annoying the neighbors with it, and then he put the headphones on.
I wore out Peace of Mind. You gotta have him. And he was mentioning seeing, you know, people wearing Maiden shirts and you throw the horns. So, you know, typical 80s stuff. Again, the mention of Paul Di'Anno and how he was, it's clearly Steve's voice saying, well, he clearly wasn't taking care of himself or looking after himself.
Yeah.
And it kind of just cuts to Bruce answering the phone. It's like, oh, this is Bruce. And they say, oh, Bruce is the last piece of the puzzle, or a piece of the puzzle. And it just kind of shows a bunch of stuff. Scott Ian pops up.
As always.
As always, Scott Ian. He's the second one you need for a rock documentary. So Scott brings up how
I think Gene Simmons would have brought a little bit more variety to the picture, really.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
He brings up how watching Maiden is like watching Broadway, and it's referencing, you know, the fact that their shows just kept getting bigger and bigger in the 80s, and if you were following that, then it was, you know, super interesting. And then a little over a minute in, and it takes like a real tonal shift.
We didn't realise just what a toll it would take.
And you can tell they're going for like maximum drama. And I'm very curious to see how far they go with that theme, because it's a significant part of the trailer. And, you know, it has like little bits of all the like dramatic parts of their career that are put in as just little sound bites. And you would think that it's all referencing like, oh, Bruce leaving in the early 90s and them having some trouble, you know, with the next albums without their, you know, classic singer. But pulling out like every line from it, I think that they're referencing like vast differences in the timeline. Like, I just thought about it, like Bruce mentions going outside to have a fist fight.
We're gonna go outside and have a fist fight.
And I was like, well, I wonder what they're referencing there. And I think he's talking about on the Number of the Beast tour when Steve and Bruce were like fighting to be the front man. And I feel like, oh, you know, we're going to have a fist fight of who stands in the middle and who's getting all the attention. I'm betting that might be what that's referencing. Blaze says the press are saying Maiden are dead. We have grunge. First of all, Blaze is in it.
Yeah,
that was never announced.
Nice to know that, you know, he got a part in the film.
Yeah, I mean, who better to get? If they want to talk about the dramatic years, get Blaze in there. And there was no sign of Paul in the trailer, but of course we have.
But they're gonna save that.
Yeah, I mean, we want the juice on that. And it just leads me to think that hopefully Blaze can really shed some light on a period of the band that has not really had much time to really dwell on it and get all the details out. And it's not that I think they're going to spend like an hour on the Blaze era.
No. But
I would think that, you know, it's a part of the story that we want to hear a bit more about.
Yeah.
And then you hear Nico say, oh, he has throat cancer. That's my brother. He could die. Well, I mean, that's clearly referencing the throat cancer with Bruce in 2014-15. So, you know, we're skipping all over the place where it's trying to... It makes it seem like we're talking about a very specific time in the trailer, but really it's very spotty all over the career of like problem and fix and problem and fix. And Steve says, oh, they were up against it, and but he likes it because it's a challenge. And then, you know, the tonal shift goes back the other way, and it's like, oh, we're back, a Number of the Beast plays.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's kind of makes it seem like the 80s were amazing, and then the 90s had their problems, but all the references were just like all over their career. And then it's like, Bruce is back and we're playing Number of the Beast again and everything's fine.
Yeah.
I really did like the way the trailer ended with the band on stage. It was Future Past tour with Nico and all the guys. And it's Bruce yelling, "We're all blood brothers!" And I think that might be from Rock in Rio. Sounded familiar.
I feel like it was in Vivo. Because
There you
he did
go.
the Catholic, Christian, or Jedi, whatever.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so it could be, it's almost definitely from...
I think it's in Vivo.
Yeah, probably in Vivo. But I honestly, like, when I saw all the guys, like, you know, taking the photo in front of the crowd,
Yeah.
in that must have been 2024, it hit me right in the heart.
We are all blood brothers!
Well, I think the clip they used was from his final show.
Well, from Nico's final show, yeah. I mean, that's where the story kind of takes a turn, you know. It's like, was that the end? Is there more? You know, and who knows how they're going to end it, you know.
Yeah.
Are they going to end this documentary was like, and we'll never stop touring and we're going to go until it's completely over? Or are they going to be like, and that was that, thanks. Yeah. One thing interesting that Adrian just did an interview where he was asked a little bit about the documentary, and he had an interesting kind of quote that was put out there quite a bit, but he said something along the lines of, oh, you know, some things will come to light that have never been talked about previously. And I wonder if it's referencing him specifically or other things.
I think it's just because we've never had anything that covers the 90s and beyond. So, like,
Right.
I think that it's just, like, it's some stuff about the Blaze years, obviously about Bruce's cancer, because there's never been anything like that in a documentary before.
Well, I'd really like for them, and that goes into, you know, I want to talk about what I would like to see and what I think a lot of fans would like to see, because we know the story of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get into, you know, like that year off they had after Seventh Son, and then going into No Prayer and losing Adrian, because that's the first, like, biggest rift we've seen in the band in their classic lineup. And it had such a big effect. And, you know, he went solo for a bit before he joined Bruce's band later after he left. So I would really like to hear some perspectives on like what Bruce and Adrian were thinking about Maiden when they were doing their solo stuff, and what Maiden was thinking about like Bruce's stuff when he was doing Accident of Birth with Adrian and Chemical Wedding and all that, because we just don't know like if they were really keeping tabs on each other, or if this was planned for years to get back together, or if it was just kind of a random let's get back together thing. So I'd like to hear a bit more about that. And I think you and I would both like a little bit of time spent on the post-reunion. And of course we do have a lot of like documentary style things like Flight 666 and In Vivo and Death on the Road, which goes into like the touring aspect and what it's like on the road with them, which is awesome. I mean, you know, we had never seen anything like that before it came out. But now that we're 20 years removed from the 2000s, like I really like to know what they think about like Brave New World and Dance of Death and A Matter of Life and Death, because I mean A Matter of Life and Death is 20 years old this year, and do they look back at those albums now kind of like they look back at the 80s albums, and you know, do they miss that era or anything? And I'd love to see them talk about that stuff. And even like Final Frontier, and clearly they're going to go into like the Book of Souls era a little bit because of the cancer mentioned, but I hope they don't skip over any album. I hope we get at least just a little bit of like each album.
You're very hopeful.
I'm very hopeful.
I don't know that that's gonna happen.
Or,
I think you'll be lucky to get like Brave New World through Final Frontier mashed into one section.
So of course it ends, you know.
Yeah, how does it end?
What do you mean? How does it end?
What do you got to say for yourself?
I don't have anything to say.
Nothing.
It ends with the band taking a big hoorah photo with Nico.
Well, just before it ends.
Iron Maiden hit rock bottom in order to become the greatest band in the world a second time.
I don't know who that was. The funny thing is that, you know, you've got, and I said that you got the trifecta of rock documentaries. You got Scott Ian, Tom Morello, Lars Ulrich, and then at the end there, nameless bozo. So who knows? But we have tickets to see the film.
Yes.
We're very excited to see it. We're gonna go see it with Logan, of course, and have a great time.
Friends actually driving down to come see it with us too.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So please tell us like what you guys want to see from this film, because you know, again, we know the story of the '80s. We want some drama. We want to hear the good stuff, the juicy stuff. So what do you guys want to hear? And are you going to see this movie?
Yes, of course they are.
Of course you guys are.
Kidding? If they're Iron Maiden fans, they're at least going to buy the DVD when it comes out.
You think it'll get a physical release?
Yeah.
Hope so.
I don't think it'll go on streaming, but I think it'll get a physical release.
Get a limited 4K release, and I will buy 5.
Why?
In case one breaks.
Okay. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, that was James's yap session today. He really wanted to talk about this one. So,
who knows why?
Yeah. Let us know what your thoughts down below. And, again, like James said, tell us if you're going to go see it. So, thank you for watching to the end of the video. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.